Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Adicia Burton. In the headlines, Ministry of Education to administer 2023 Grade 6 National Assessment. Government hosts pre-budget consultation with agriculture sector. And Prime Minister's carrot towards new Grand Bay housing development. The details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. The Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence will administer the 2023 Grade 6 National Assessment on Thursday, June 1 and Friday, June 2. Julian Morris reports.
This year, 871 candidates consisting of 404 girls and 467 boys will be assessed across 63 centers around the island. On Thursday, the 1st of June, candidates will write the language arts and social sciences components, while on the 2nd of June, mathematics and science and technology components will be assessed.
All papers are of multiple choice format except the language arts paper 2, which will be an essay writing assessment. We are requesting that parents and anyone not directly involved with the examinations to refrain from remaining on the school compounds or on any testing center while the examinations are in progress. Parents are also reminded that they should keep their grade 6s comfortable, relaxed, hydrated, and well nourished as we near the examinations tomorrow.
Ms. Robin says the number of students writing the Grade 6 National Assessment continues to decline.
For the past few years, we have had more boys than girls for the past few years. I'm not sure what is the reason for it, but that's the trend we are taking. But overall, the numbers have been decreasing over the past few years.
Ms. Robin says fewer candidates writing the GSAT exams each year may be linked to families having fewer children.
Smaller families, yes, and the school populations are very small. They're actually dwindling. Schools that would have 100 and something children are now down to 50. So that's like half of the population that they would have had in previous years. So that is one of the main contributing factors to the lower count in the Grade 6 National Assessment. In fact, this year we have a situation where one school was not even able to submit candidates for the assessment. That is how it has gotten. But hopefully, if we have an increase in population or increase in procreation, then that should not be a problem in future years.
While it is often felt that girls perform better than boys in these exams, Ms. Robin remains optimistic.
While in the past, the data has shown that boys tend to be underperforming, I believe that it has to do with the particular students in that year, the homes from which they come, the exposure to reading especially, and to a sense of seriousness when it comes to education. So I believe that based on the caliber of students that we have this year, we should see a better performance in the boys.
The Rosa Primary School was involved in some last-minute preparations on Wednesday, as the school will serve as the examination center for GSAT students from the Rosa Valley.
This week has been a revision week for grade 6. The teachers had them involved with the Google Classroom, work in the Google Classroom, because we do blended learning. We do both face-to-face, and the students also have assignments in the Google Classroom. So the teachers were doing some face-to-face, and then the students went online and they did some work there. So they did a review on some concepts on YouTube, some other online resources. They also use that to help them.
Ms. Abraham had some advice for students as they head into the next 2 days of exams.
First of all, I want them to relax. We have been telling them that this week, because as the exam approaches, some students are a little frightened. So we tell them that they need to put faith in God and they do not need to fear. And then we also tell them that they always read Psalms 23. So we focused a little bit on goodness and mercy shall follow you. So we said to them that we also had an evangelical person who prayed with them, and we remind them that goodness and mercy shall follow you into the exam. So when you go into the exam, remember you are not alone. Goodness and mercy is with you. So calm down, relax, and try to remember what you were taught.
The exams are carded to begin at 7:45 a.m. each day. Julian Morris for the Government Information Service.
As preparations for the 2023-2024 national budget continues, the government of Dominica is hosting a series of budget consultations with various stakeholders. Kavya John has more.
On Tuesday, May 30th, a pre-budget consultation was held at the State House with the agricultural sector and was attended by Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Minister of Finance, Economic Development, Climate Resilience and Social Security, Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre, and Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries and the Blue and Green Economy, Honorable Roland Royer. Dr. McIntyre says these consultations are government's way of including the relevant stakeholders and the general public in the country's affairs.
These consultations afford citizens and residents the opportunity to recommend to the government policies, projects, and programs which could be included in the budget. Our government continues to take a very inclusive approach in the management of this country's affairs. We believe that the view of every citizen and resident is important as we continue to hold each other's hands to build a resilient and economically sustainable and stable Dominica.
He explained that the first consultation was held with the Ministry of Agriculture as they play an important role in the country's economic development.
The agriculture sector remains one of Dominica's major economic drivers and a very important sector. Some may argue the most important sector given its role in terms of ensuring food security and the very positive economic impact on the thousands of people engaged in the sector, particularly in the rural Dominica. This is why your views are so important to us. You will recall last year we met at this same venue. You raised some issues and made several recommendations, most of which were included in the budget, which was approved by Parliament in July last year.
Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Roland Royer, says numerous recommendations made in last year's pre-budget consultation were included in the 2022-2023 national budget. He highlighted the progress made on some of the included recommendations.
In terms of improved market access and promotion, using the Productive Alliance model, we have budgeted $3.5 million to be spent to assist at least 5 producer organizations in Dominica, specifically the Dashin banana planting farmers, Toloma cassava, vegetables, and the bay oil value chain. In collaboration with Dexia, we have established an agricultural producer procurement facility revolving scheme to remove the burden placed on farmers from late payments on sale of produce, to improve producers' confidence to provide reliable, consistent supply for market in the marketplace. So with that, $5 million will be made available to Dexia for the operationalization of that scheme.
Investments have also been made in agricultural infrastructure and equipment around the island.
As it relates to the restoration of key infrastructure in agriculture, livestock and fisheries, we have completed the rehabilitation works for the roofing, plumbing, and electrical systems for the Central Livestock Farm and the Northeast Agricultural Regional Office. We entered into technical cooperation agreement with Venezuela for the renovation of the coffee plant and the development of a coffee industry in Dominica, with additional financing for expansion of coffee production valued at $4 million. Replacement equipment has been purchased in Milan, Italy, and will be shipped to Dominica this week via the Everglades in Florida. The Roseau and Marigot Fishes Complex were rehabilitated, completed, and commissioned in terms of the National Abattoir. Technical assessment on the condition of the physical plant is completed, and recommendation for total renovation to include procurement of new equipment and complete renovation of the building is approved. Temporary works will be undertaken to ensure that the abattoir remains functional.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says while there is potential in the agriculture sector, citizens must work together to realize that potential.
We have to work together. It's not about pointing the finger at the Ministry of Agriculture or pointing fingers at the farmers. We all have to work together if we are to optimize agriculture. But for me personally, I believe in agriculture. I believe agriculture is critical for food security. It's critical to our wellness and health. And we need to do more as a country in terms of promoting local produce and the consumption of local produce.
Kuvia John for the Government Information Service.
Thank you, Kuvia, for that report. Residents of Grand Bay and Dubic are set to benefit from the government's housing revolution as the construction of a new housing development is ongoing. More in this report.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit led a delegation on a site visit of the new housing development on Tuesday, May 30. This is part of government's mandate to provide safe and resilient housing for all vulnerable citizens. The new development consists of 88 standalone units, 29 empty plots for construction, and 17 housing units for restoration. Prime Minister Skerrit explained that this new development will address the housing needs of residents of Dubic as well as Grand Bay.
This is a major project, building new homes. As you know, after Erica, we had to relocate the residents of Dubic. Initially, we built some petrocasas for them. Some of them were impacted by the hurricane. And we decided in our effort to build greater resilience that we would redevelop the homes, the community that was built for the Dubic residents. And so we have in excess of 40 homes for the residents of Dubic, combination of 3 and 2 bedrooms. And also recognizing the housing need for Grand Bay, we've also made provision for housing in Grand Bay. I believe in the first instance 24 new homes and 10 were renovated. So this will be located specifically to the residents of Grand Bay.
Other buildings, to include a church and a hurricane shelter, will also form part of the development.
In addition to the housing there, we have a church because we had to impact on the church that was resident here. We're building a community center that will include a hurricane shelter with all of the supporting amenities. And we're also building a new standalone magistrate court. So it will be a designated magistrate court and not utilizing the space as existing in the police station with all of the support services to allow the magistrate to carry this function. And our hope is that the magistrate will spend more time calling cases so that people don't wait for a long time and cases adjourn unnecessarily. So he has his own space. He can even sleep there if he wants or she wants. And we also do a new fire station, built for purpose fire station with appropriate office spaces and accommodation for the fire service.
Member of Parliament for the Grand Bay constituency, Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson, thanked the contractors for the work they have done despite challenges that they have faced.
I want to begin by thanking the contractors. I want to thank the contractors for taking us so far, so fast, in spite of the challenges that they were faced with. And I'm happy with the announcement that the Prime Minister and the Minister of Housing have made. But I want to particularly thank the contractors for staying the course and reaching so far under difficult circumstances, not only for tight budget, but with the impact of inflation. I think sometimes we underestimate the impact that certain global activities like the war in Ukraine is having on the cost of construction, in particular in Dominica. So to be able to reach that far, I really want to thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to seeing the completion of these houses so that next hurricane season, our people will be in the safe space and this entire part of the constituency will be developed.
Minister for Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Melissa Popon Skerrit, says the completion of this housing development will bring a sense of safety to the residents.
This one is particularly unique, and I believe that with our future resettlements we will mimic what we're doing here today, because this is a resilient village within a village. The Prime Minister outlined all the different aspects of this area, which I'm very excited about. The shops, the resilient homes, the fire station upgrade, the church, magistrates court. Pretty much if you're living here, you don't even have to go outside of the village. And so I believe this is an exciting moment for the residents who will be occupying this area. Many of them were displaced, but as you know, we've been providing rental for them for about 62 families. So you can imagine the cost over these years providing this. So we will be really happy to get this expense of our budget and place them into their rightful homes.
Member of Parliament for the Pitt-7 constituency, Honorable Julian Defoe, says these homes will not only benefit residents who have been relocated, but will also extend to other vulnerable residents in the community.
That is much more than the original count. So that means to say that there are additional homes that are catered to the less vulnerable and single parent families. So it is not just the original core of people who relocated from Dubic that will benefit, but we have an additional. So the exact figure known to give now, but it's a significant amount. So at that point, we think the Dubic community itself will be well situated and located in terms of the social context, people being well catered for.
The project is expected to be completed in 2024. Kuvia John for the Government Information Service.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. As part of the community engagement activities for Tourism Awareness Month, the Ministry of Tourism hosted a beach cleaning activity at Layu on Saturday, May 27. More in this report. In recognition of Tourism Awareness Month, the government through the Ministry of Tourism has coordinated a cleanup activity of the Layu beach. Parliamentary representative for the St. Joseph constituency and Parliamentary Secretary with responsibility for constituency empowerment, Honorable Darren Lloyd, says the Layu Beach holds massive potential for growth as a tourism destination, and he will take initiative on leading this project.
We have a plethora of activities that we would like to undertake on this beach. So I believe before we can go about doing so, it is paramount that we build on our natural aggregate in the beach and to clean up the area, because the truth is there are a number of derelict building structures and vehicles and boats that can be seen as an eyesore, that are what we'll call an eyesore to the area. This beach possesses tremendous potential, and as a parliamentary representative, I would like to lead the charge in ensuring that this beach remains clean and that we could continue building on the ambience of the area so that we can undertake all of the activities that we have in mind. It is also one of my more profound goals to transform this area into a tourism destination, and what better way is there to do that than by beginning with cleaning the beach. This beach is very popular. It is an extremely vast area. We have a confluence of both the river and sea, which makes it very attractive to tourists. So I believe if we can continue tapping into the potential of this beach, great things are to come for the Layu community and the St. Joseph constituency by extension.
Meanwhile, Deputy Speaker of the House and resident of Layu, Mr. Philip Roll, says the vastness of the beach and location near Dominica's longest river holds economic prospects and when cleaned will add to the community tourism product.
We're definitely happy to have all of these stakeholders on the beach. We believe that the Layu Beach is a place that has so much potential. There is so much that can happen on this beach, and we're just happy today that we have helping hands who will support us in unlocking that potential. There is a lot of prospects for tourism, for sports tourism, for entertainment. I mean, this is probably one of the biggest beaches in Dominica, next to the longest and largest river in Dominica. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot of potential here, and we are happy that we could come today, put all hands on deck, and do our part to clean up this beautiful beach, which will hopefully enhance our community tourism product It is something that we are developing along with the support and leadership of our parliamentary representative.
Tourism Awareness Month is recognized annually by the Discover Dominica Authority and the Ministry of Tourism in May. It is aimed at increasing the public's awareness of tourism and the pivotal role that each person plays in the promotion of the tourism industry. Honorable Darren Lloyd expressed gratitude to the government and to all individuals who turned out in support of the cleanup activity in Layu. The curtain has closed on the annual Fête Isidore celebrations in the villages of Saint-Sauveur and Grand Bay. The villages observed Fête Isidore, the feast of farmers, named for the patron saint of farmers, Saint Isidore, over the weekend. This year, the activities began on Friday with an Isidore warm-up at different bar locations in the communities with entertainment from local DJs. The following nights were celebrated with entertainment from local bands and artists. On Pentecost Monday, a parade featured local bands and groups proceeded to High Mass, which was broadcasted live via radio. The Mass sermon was led by Father Branca John. He says it is important to note that Isidore teaches one to always be satisfied.
Isidore teaches us to be satisfied in the Lord. Some of us are not. Some of us are not satisfied. And we try to move hell to get the world. And then hell comes to us. We destroy ourselves, we destroy our communities in the process of trying to get hell or to move hell to get the world. Don't do that. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his very self? To lose your soul and you have everything that you say you want. Be satisfied.
Meantime, during the celebrations in Saint-Sauveur, one stalwart was recognized for her dedication to the feast of Saint Isidore.
We recognize and applaud her efforts at maintaining the enhancement, observation, and celebration of the feast. Mrs. Rosiette Ellie James Jezin Atta, we thank you for all you have done to promote Fête Isidore in Saint-Sauveur. You remain resolute, and we pray that God will continue to bless you with a long life to continue playing your part in the celebration of Fête Isidore. We consider you a veteran, and today the community of the Church of the Transfiguration Saint-Sauveur honors you as a long-standing Isidore stalwart of our community.
Fête Isidore climaxed with music from bands like the Midnight Groovers, Signal Band, and First Serenade. The annual Girodel Egliston Flower Show and Market Fair celebrated its Golden Jubilee last weekend as citizens from around the country turned out to mark the show's 50th anniversary, which was held under the theme, 50 Years and Still Blooming. Curvia John has more in this report.
The event is organized and hosted every year by the Girodel Egliston Flower Growers Group since its inception in 1973. The event was attended by Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Honorable Melissa Popun Skerrit, Member of Parliament for the Rosasov constituency, Honorable Shakira Lockhart Hippolyte, Minister for Tourism, Honorable Dennis Charles, among other members of Parliament. Member of the Girodel Egliston Flower Growers Group, Mrs. Augustina Ambrose Popo, says the flower show will continue to thrive as long as there is a mix of tradition from the older members and modern ideas from the youth.
At 50, the flower show is just beginning. Some things, and indeed some people, are going to wear out, fall out, or even spread apart. However, the combination of youthfulness and community spirit, blended with the knowledge, experience, and wisdom of the older generation, augur well for the further growth and development of the institution that we refer to as the most beautiful show in Dominica.
Member of Parliament for the Rosasov constituency, Honorable Shakira Lockhart Hippolyte, says the new generation must show an interest if the event is to be sustained.
The onus is upon us to continue in this tradition.
We must walk boldly within this great corridor, the enchanted garden. It is God's gift to us, our naturally beautiful community, forever remembering our duty to our community and country.
Honorable Lockhart Hippolyte commended the organizers for their efforts over the years in producing the show.
The traditional elements must be preserved, for they are the core attributes. I have no doubt that this tradition shall continue and will develop. I do believe that we must seek to maximize the returns of our investment. Along with this Dominica Labour Party administration, you, the people, have invested a great deal and worked very hard. I must commend you on your tremendous efforts.
Minister for Tourism, Honorable Dennis Charles, says the flower show is a tribute of what Dominica has to offer as a tourism destination.
Their mantra, 50 years still blooming, paints a vivid picture of our shared Dominica journey. It's not just about a pretty bloom. It's also a memory of resilience woven in our nation's story. The good people in Girodale and Egliston have a knack for blending nature and culture. They've used this unique mix to spark growth in their communities that goes far beyond cash in the pocket. It's about enriching the life we share, people, environment, community. They've harnessed the power of their traditions and by doing so, have brought out the best of their potential. Take this beautiful flower show. This is not just a tourist product. It's a tribute to the richness and diversity of what we, as Dominicans, have to offer.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister of Dominica, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, says this show is an example of what can occur when community members work together.
This is truly a heartwarming event, which speaks to the importance of community and of people coming together to make a meaningful contribution to development at the local level. The Girodale Egliston Flower Show and Market Fair is a shining example of the good that can be done when community leaders take initiative and pursue goals, common goals and interests for the good of all. So from the outset, I wish to commend all of you who have committed your time and effort to recapturing the magic of the Girodale Egliston Flower Show.
The Prime Minister added that the collaboration between the parliamentary representative and the Flowers Grower Group should be replicated around the island to drive community-based initiatives.
Now in its 50th year, the Flower Show is a representation of your rich history and holds cultural significance, not only for this area, but on a national scale. I am impressed that you have built on this proud legacy and relaunched this event in grand style. I am gratified that there are still those among you who remembered the value of the flower show to your twin communities and worked tirelessly to bring it back to life. I must also give high praise to your parliamentary representative, Honorable Shikira Lockhart Hippolyte, for pushing for this important event and seeing it to fruition. This is a demonstration of the kind of collaboration that needs to happen with elected representatives across Dominica to drive community-based initiatives.
The Flower Show and Market Fair opened on Saturday, May 27 and closes on Tuesday, May 30. Curvia John for the Government Information Service.
Thank you, Curvia, for that report. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I am Isidore Burton. Thanks for watching.